Welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave, and wishing you and all your family and everyone that you love and everyone that you maybe don't love a very Merry Christmas. Santa Claus has come with a big bag of red dildos, actually shoving them down your chimney. And let's get into a live scene right over here before we waste any more time, as Bitcoin essentially selling off in the night pretty damn hard, down about $500 from the 4,200 high. So now we have something very interesting over here because we do now we do have a confirmation of a lower high. And with taking out this 3,800 level right over here, well, this is very likely to continue. So I've seen something that I think is a little bit more solid and concrete, obviously going on with the former trend. Yes, we do now have hidden bearish divergence playing out. We have regular bearish divergence playing out as well. This is the 10 hour. Let's go to the 12 hour for a second. Yeah, 12 hour showing some regular bearish divergence going on right over here. Hidden bearish divergence going on between this area and this area right over here. So hey, there you go. I mean, Bitcoin kind of selling down. Yesterday I was long. I basically got out of that exactly where I said it would. Right at where was it? I think I had my area at 40.80. Yeah, it was this blue box territory right over here. Exited most of it at around 41.40. At the top of the blue box, and then the rest of it right over here. And right now I'm just playing options. Again, I want to be like relatively, low key during the holiday season. I'm over here in like the middle of fucking nowhere in Finland with my girlfriend's parents. For the first time, they don't speak a fucking lick of English, so it's nice to like spend some time with them instead of like looking at the charts all goddamn day. But very interesting thing, because I was saying some more, and this was a little bit like of an experiment, I suppose you could say, because I was saying a little bit more bullish things yesterday, which I think most people who have been tuning this content for a while know that I'm not really bullish. But a lot of new viewers on that video, very interestingly enough. So a little bit of a test, but hey, you know what? Merry fucking Christmas. I'm bearish. Anyways, overall, when it comes down to it, Bitcoin breaking this blue box territory right over here was the big bad signal. We spoke about that yesterday, how we really didn't want to see that area violated. It was violated, confirmed, even got tested a few times right over here. They even gave you a few more chances to get out, and then straight down after that. Now, of course, when I did get out of my longs, and I guess flip a little bit short. I'm just playing options, so it's kind of like way out of the money now. So it doesn't really count too much. It's like, just don't really want to have that sort of risk on. But I wasn't looking for something like this almost immediately. Pretty heavy dumping dildos over here right now, about 300 million on the selling in just 1 hour period, which is pretty significant. Now, yes, over here we did have a pretty hefty buying. Compare that with 500 million over here, which is pretty damn rare. But overall, the dump is real, the selling pressure is real, and very likely to continue on downwards as we did take out our prior local low right around this. I think it's best seen on a 12 hour. And yes, I really do want to focus on the higher time frames. Yeah, right around here. So here's kind of like the sound bit for this video, and probably most videos going forwards now, is that as long as we're below this area right here, 38.30, just kind of like the prior local low. Really want to be having short deltas, but overall, like I said, if it's fucking holiday season for you, probably don't want to be watching this too much. Just kind of saying that from a general perspective. The former trend taking over again. The trend is your friend until the end of the trend, and the trend nowhere near the end is what it looks like to me. Again, so. Looking at our higher time frame oscillators, they are coming down as well. 12-hour Stokes pointed downwards, 10-hour Stokes, not even getting a chance. And I think daily should be crossing down as well now. Yeah, we just had a fresh cross in the daily, getting rejected from the more critical zone. So, to me, putting this all together, looking at us getting back below the daily 21 exponential right over here, with a very clear rejection on the daily right over here. It does look like Bitcoin wants some more down. Now, where is this likely to go towards? Well, I'm not saying anything profound here, but where is this likely to go towards? Let's go down to our lower time frame, see where our next support trend line's coming around. Yeah, so we got this guy right over here, 3,600. So that was the area that I was looking for last week, as this rally just got more and more continuation. So coming back down here would be, I don't want to say expected, but I want to say that it's it's not a death sentence, although I do think it goes lower, but obviously this 3,600 level, in my opinion, is the level that I'd be making decisions off of. If 3,600 gets taken out, basically this, let's actually put a nice blue box right over here. Basically, if this kind of zone gets taken out right over here, then very likely, you know, going to come down to at least 3,400, but my opinion is that we'd probably come down to about 3,200, 3,300, just the prior low. To me, this is very reminiscent of what Bitcoin was doing at the 6,000 level for most of the year, right over here, you know, coming down, getting stuck in the mud, rallying back up, coming down, getting stuck in the mud, you know, rallying back up, you know, all these tries off this zone. My God, my voice is fading me again. Do apologize about that. I actually feel fine today. I actually feel completely healthy, but oddly enough, my voice just doesn't agree. But I could see that very likely happening around with this 3,000 level as well. While I am overall bearish, and I do think that Bitcoin has some lower lows to go, I think that is going to probably take some time. Going over here to the weekly, yeah, it is a rejection of the 200 exponential so far. We were unable to close above it last week, and this week, you know, taking another wick above it, even making a higher over last week. But again, you know, once the Snellers kind of sniff the price action getting above that area, they do want to defend. So Bear's still in full control. I mean, we still have lower highs, you know, in the most basic of basic ways. The three things that I'm looking for to denote the bear market, and subsequently, you know, denote if it's going to be over or not, are still very much intact. We have, first things first, lower highs on the daily for literally the last over a year, going all the way back to, yeah, December 17th, so more than a year now. Way over a year, like a year and 10 days. Crazy, man. But yeah, this is just going to be another lower high right over here. And what's the second thing that I'm looking for? The second thing that I'm looking for is I need to see a weekly dildo both opening and closing above this purple 200 exponential right over here. Obviously, that has been rejected. And, well, obviously, we have a lot of days left to go on this current weekly that we're forming right now. So it's not really, you know, worthwhile to say this is a rejection. I mean, anything can happen between now and 7 p.m. on Sunday. But I would imagine that as long as Bitcoin is both opening and closing weekly dildos below the 200 exponential on stamp, I don't really have any reason to be like thinking that the bear market is over or anything like that. And then third and finally, I'd want to see, and sorry, to kind of wrap up that point, that last point about the weekly, if that were to happen, I would drastically change my tune on Bitcoin. And the third and final one, and the most important one, and the one that would make me have no more questions, is if Bitcoin can get back above this 6,000 level right over here. If you start closing some daily dollars above there, weekly dollars above there, that'd be incredibly impressive. So I know a lot of people are looking for a rally to the 5,000s, 6,000s. I don't think that that's really likely. I think that that's incredibly not likely, especially when Bitcoin just doesn't want to make higher highs. What I think it's more likely that we're doing some sort of a pausing activity like this right over here, kind of like that getting stuck in the mud analogy that I made for the 6,000. You know, but doing something like that down around here at the 3,000 level, kind of analogous to what you did over here in the 2014 market cycle, where, you know, you put in your bull trap right over here, we put in our bull trap right over here, and then you just slink down, coming into this area right here. Look at the volume on this guy, look at the volume on this guy, compare it to what you did on your parabolic top, compare this to what you did on your parabolic top, and you can see very, very quickly and understand very quickly that that is in no way, shape, or form in my mind indicative of capitulation, or I mean, just by the mere fact of this being this volume matches up with this dildo right here. We slunk below it like another 4 weeks, you know. So extreme, you know, that's just not it to begin with. And again, a lot of people I've seen that, you know, being called around a lot of places on the internet. And, you know, that's great that people are really, you know, optimistic about this. And believe me, I am extremely bullish on Bitcoin long term. In fact, I will be buying Elsa a pair of brand new titties, the biggest fucking size, when Bitcoin hits 20,000. So you better bet that I'm fucking bullish long term. But, you know, to call a spade, probably not going up anytime soon, in my opinion. And when I say going up, I mean, like, you know, creating a bull trend, getting back above 6,000. So right here, right now, you know, probably doing something like this, basically doing a little bit of pausing activity. We hit the 200 simple moving average right over here, the red moving average, which is where I started to, you know, I never let go of my shorts when it's a bear trend, but I did start, you know, buying perps against them, going back to neutral. And right now I'm actually neutral as well, so I'm not really taking advantage of this last $500 down, sadly enough. But again, you know, it's like priorities, right? It's, you want to. I mean, there's going to be some times where you're not going to get everything, man. You're not going to get everything, and it's like, all right, well, I'd rather, you know, do something new for a few days, and then when I come back next week, can put on some more big trades. Anyways, so you come down in this area right over here. It's just going to be bought, typically, not, I don't want to say automatically, but a lot of bots, a lot of algorithms, just a lot of people in general. It's no secret about the weekly 200 simple moving average. So a lot of people are going to defend this one. And on the first pass, extremely likely there to be a bounce, which is what we've had so far. Does this get continuation more? Certainly can. Back over here in 2014, by the way, you actually did create a little bit of kind of an uptrend. You closed this weekly dildo just ever so slightly above the close of this guy right over here, but more importantly, both of them were rejections, right? Long wicks to the upside. So to me, you know, looking at that, it's pretty damn similar to what we're doing right now. Again, in 2014, you know, you have a great example of what capitulation actually does look like down around here. Doesn't need to always look like that. You can get capitulation a few different ways, and it's more importantly an emotional feeling, not necessarily like a chart pattern. And the emotional feeling is of despair and complete, you know, lack of hope, which causes that. And typically, and it is forced. You know, this is the thing that I think a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people reach out to me saying, Krown, don't you think that because everyone knows the Wall Street cheat sheet, that capitulation just can't happen because people know what it looks like? Well, no, because again, it's a forced thing. It's an emotional thing. It doesn't need to come about like this very, very violent way down around here. It can come about from, you know, like a lack of hope. And how would you get that? I mean, you know, if Bitcoin were to go sideways at the 3,000 level, at the 2,000 level for, again, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I'm just saying that this, you know, this would be a potential way. If it were to go sideways around that area for like 2 years, I think most people would probably be shaken out by then. Again, I'm not saying that that's going to happen. Still have to have open eyes and open heart with this guy. And like I said, I do believe in it long term. But capitulation is forced because here's the thing: because the big market movers, the big people who you know who basically control the markets in a way. Well, what can they do? They can essentially model people's, you know, points of financial pain, and especially this is probably pretty prevalent in cryptocurrency land, because you have like the crypto anarchists who will use nothing but Bitcoin, and at some point in time those people will be forced to capitulate because for financial reasons. If you don't have any sort of, you know, external source of income or anything like that, like what, you know, if Bitcoin goes down to like 1,000, which again I actually don't think it's that likely that it goes down there, but I think it's going to go down to like 2,000 or sorry 2,300ish area maybe. Maybe someone got mad at me for saying maybe the other day. It's like, yeah, man, hey, technical analysis, it's not a fucking crystal ball, it just tells you potential scenarios. But Merry fucking Christmas. But hey, so when it comes down to it, you know, there's, you know, people can make models of that. People can make models of that sort of thing, you know, given all the different economic and economic factors. So, you know, there will be blood. There will be fucking blood, just like the movie. But here's just a great example of what capitulation typically does look like. This is the more violent version, obviously. Look at the volume on this guy. Look at the volume on this guy. Compare that to what you did in your parabolic cycle right over here. That's what I'm essentially looking for. I'm looking for something analogous to what we did right over here. It is very deceiving to look at this guy and this guy right over here and think that they're even anywhere near each other, because remember, this is measured in coins traded, not dollars traded. Dollars traded, if we were to look at this with dollars traded, you know, when Bitcoin is literally like a half or even less than a half in value than the prior example, well, it's going to be naturally a lot higher if you look at it in dollars, right? And going down over here, you can see very quickly that this is nowhere fucking near what you did on your parabolic cycle. In fact, our last green dildo on the weekly was this guy down around here. It's nowhere fucking near, man. Nowhere fucking near. About 650% So again, you know, looking at that guy right over there. Whoops, did I just do that right? There we go. Okay, get rid of that. Looking at that guy right over there, you know, I think it's pretty visually abundantly clear that that's not really what we're doing. Also, capitulation, if you are going to get it this way in the more violent sense, it's going to happen extremely fast, right? It's going to happen extremely fast. So, you know, look at what you did in basically a week's time frame. It was about a 69% up, you know, 69% fucking up. If we were to do that from the bottom, which, keep in mind, we've already done this for a week or more than a week now. 69% up from the lows would be 5,500. That actually be a perfect test of the yellow 21 exponential on the weekly. What we're doing right now is really just having a retest of the daily 21 exponential, and I think it's like abundantly clear to see on this guy as well that you have a rejection of the 21 right over here. Again, we spoke about how when you have bullish divergence on this time frame, or I mean this applies for a lot of different things, but between this point and this point, then yeah, the kind of classic plays, you pop back up to your 21 and then you bounce off more often than not. So again, I know people are going to look at this and they're already going to say, Krown, it's an inverted head and shoulders. Well, it's actually not. It's actually not. Again, when you see an inverted head and shoulders, if you have a sloping neckline like this direction, it's not. It's fucking not. This is a lower high. If it's the other direction, like it's sloping up on the right shoulder, it actually can be. And I've noticed that in cryptocurrency land, that it's a lot more lenient with the way that it kind of rewards people looking for that pattern. And yes, it does play out. Bitcoin actually has a history of playing them out. But you know, again, this right here is very unlikely to be. Again, what I'm looking at right now is we have hidden bearish divergence on, and even regular bearish divergence, yeah, even all the way to a 2-day. Holy shit, man! I completely missed this yesterday, and very much shame on me. But essentially, yeah, that kind of is what we're looking for. This also is a little bit nastier than I think first met the eye, because remember, we have the 3-day dildo death cross, which has only happened one other time in Bitcoin's history, actually leading on to the capitulation event in 2014. Right over here, that's your green 55 exponential crossing the downside of your purple 200. We have the same thing going on over here in 2014 as well. And again, you know, we've seen the daily 2-day the daily death cross and the 2-day dildo death cross, which both had pretty significant events, which we can go look at in a second. But to me, this is kind of counting as a test of the 21 exponential and then down. Let's see if the 10 simple offers any perspective on this guy as well. I'm curious. Yeah, 10 simple actually. Okay, so 10 simple actually is saying that we do have support right over here in the 3750-ish range on the 3-day. So don't want to give that one up if this is going to look, you know, quote unquote okay. When do we start a new 3-day? Yeah, the 27th. So we got a couple days on it, but yeah, it will be critical to see if we close above or below this 10 simple right over here. But just for reference, Jesus Christ, man, my fucking voice again. I apologize about this, guys. I really do. You had the 2-day dildo death cross right over here. That was kind of the impetus for me getting into my 6,300 short. Once we got, you know, shuffled below this yellow 20-minute exponential right over here, it was like a slow grinding effect, just grinding it, rejection, and then down. The daily dildo death cross had this sort of effect as well, going right over here. You know, remember this one? It was consensus time. Consensus is going to save Bitcoin because they're going to come out and announce that, hey guys, we've just been hiding all these amazing things about Bitcoin, and you know what? Bitcoin's actually going to be used as in place of the dollar. Nope, that didn't happen, and down. You know, again, these sorts of event mentality typically does not change. You know, events do not change a bear market, and people who say the contrary are, I just don't like. Show me a fucking example, man. Show me a fucking example. News does not end a bear market. A bear market ends. Very importantly, a bear market ends when the last seller has sold. When the last seller has sold, that is the only fucking way. Again, you know, news in general, I mean, just any information in general can be interpreted multiple ways because we humans are imperfect with how we communicate. I mean, the spoken word is, you know, it's like 10% of our actual communication, right? So when it comes down to it, you hear stuff about that, and it's like someone might interpret it completely different than someone else. You can't control that. What people's, you know, emotional and cognitive conditioning will interpret something as. Now, most of the time, it will be pretty damn similar, but more often than not, for a massive account, for a big money mover, they are going to interpret it probably differently than the average person. They're going to interpret something like a daddy backed coming into the market potentially as a chance to dump on people. Now they have liquidity to dump. That's how they might interpret it. Whereas, you know, the average, you know, retail investor is saying, Daddy Backed is going to come and save me, so I better buy all my fucking Bitcoins now. Well, not necessarily. Again, you got to be thinking about how the big boys are thinking, because they do move the market. It's not fucking market makers, by the way, which I really should make a video on, because that is just so misleading and so wrong, and it's something that I know to be true, because I actually used to do that as a certified, you know, Series 56 market maker authorized trader on the floor of New York Stock Exchange ARCA. But hey, you know, these sorts of things, it's like people just kind of like get these ideas and they run away with them, and then no one really knows how to check them, because it sounds right. It sounds right. Anyways, going back on over here to the weekly, speaking about why this is unlikely to be the low. But again, I want to say that while it is unlikely to be the low, I think it's going to take some time. I think it's going to really take some time to actually get this thing lower. I don't think that it's cracking 3,000, you know, anytime soon. But I think that it does happen, and that's the delicate conversation that I always need to have. But okay, so we talked about the volume on it. We talked about we didn't talk about much else, or we talked about the percent, you know, kind of increase. But really, to that point, like, you don't want to hang at your lows and give multiple chances to actually buy the lows. When a big market mover like wants to put in a floor on a trading asset, they don't let that asset get anywhere fucking near that place ever again. And when I say anywhere near, I mean like within like 5 to 10%. And we'll go over a few examples pretty soon. But right over here, you know, you had these are all 4-hour dildos, by the way. But you had basically, you know, like 3-4 days to buy the actual low, or within like 5% of the low. I mean, again, going back on over here to 2014, you get like literally, I mean, this is a daily dildo over here, so that already fucking, you know, completely negates it. But you get like maybe an hour or less to buy within 5% of the low. We actually have a few examples of some pretty hefty price action in 2018, where this would be similar to capitulation actually, but it was not, because, well, we got back within 5% of the low later. But something like this, you know, look at this, where Bitcoin came down all the way to 6,000. Within about 8 hours, you were already up 25%. That's about as much as Bitcoin is up right now from the lows. Within about a day, you were up about 40%. That's more than Bitcoin bounced in the whole week and a half that it had. Over here on the stab down from 20,000 to 10,000, by the way, which I think is like way fucking crazier, man. Like, literally, there was a day of $5,000 down. It's fucking insane, man. But bouncing up off this, in one 4-hour period, you bounced up 25 fucking %. Before the end of the day, you bounced up like, you know, 30, 40%, something like that. Again, that's what I'm looking for. Those were potential capitulation events. This, in my opinion, very unlikely to be. But it's probably going to spend some time flailing around here, probably going to spend some time, you know, digging itself into the mud, being the fucking pig that it can be, as we all know from the past prior history at 6,000. But hey, you know, it's, you know, a perspective of the higher time frames will only serve you well over here. And of course, if I don't want to go all the way back to 2014 on the 4-hour, it's going to take too long to scroll over there. But if you do the same thing right over here, I can just tell you what happens. It's about the same thing. It's about the same thing, except on your actual capitulation in 2014, if you go wick to wick on like a 4-hour, it's literally 100% within the span of like a week. You know, that's what we're looking for. And again, for perspective, right over here, Bitcoin is up about 20% off the lows, which again is good, but that looks a lot more like this than it does like this. Again, they don't need to be perfect, and microcycles definitely are not identical brothers, but they are, or they're not like identical twins, but they definitely are brotherly in the way that they play out. But right over here, you know, you bounced up like 40%. Even bounced up 40% over here, actually. Jesus, man. If you dildo body to dildo body, which maybe is a little bit more accurate, is 20%, so that makes a little bit more sense to me. Again, you just don't know where people are getting liquidated, especially with exchanges like, you know, BitMEX on 100x and all that good shit. Looking at an external factor right over here, the MBT signal. This thing has called every top and every bottom in Bitcoin's market cycle history perfect. And as you can see over here, you know, it's whenever you top out above where my curse currently is now for a market cycle, typically you do come at least, or not typically, but every time you come at least where my curse currently is now or lower. As you can see, we have plenty of room down around there. But again, I think that is probably going to take some time. It's probably going to take some time. And this still does not rule out, a move to like 4,500, a move to 4,600, anything like that. Could very well still happen. But hey, we're still just creating lower highs in the most basic of basic fucking ways. Lower highs, lower highs and lower lows for a year. The trend remains. The trend is your friend. However, funnily enough, or perhaps not funnily enough, because I think most people are not laughing at this, but Mr. Beaterall over here has created a higher high. So it did something completely different to what Bitcoin's doing. What's going on there? What is the explanation for that? Well, I can say that there's really just no fucking explanation for that. There's more buyers and sellers, and then the sellers took back on over. As soon as you got to an area that actually made sense, I think we spoke about this yesterday, that this was your next big resistance right around 160. I think I said 169 because that's a great number. We didn't quite get there. We got around 163.5. Close enough is close enough, man. It's not going to be fucking perfect. But hey, this Mr. Beaterall's reaction actually does look like significantly better. Obviously when we do have a reaction like this, but let's see what it looks like on a 2-day. Yeah, 2-day looks fine. I'd actually be a buyer on a funnily enough, I'd be a buyer on a 2-day. So are we seeing bifurcation in the market? Well, we do see Ethereum, Mr. Beaterall, in an uptrend. We see Bitcoin still in a downtrend. So what's going on here? Well, we might actually be seeing bifurcation. This is the first time that I've really said that. Because you see one in an uptrend and one in a downtrend on significant time frames. Not a weekly time frame is still the same, but hey, this is new. This is completely new. So there you go. 3-day is pretty nasty though. 3-day is very nasty. Look at that, very nasty shooting star dildo right over there. Heavy volume on it. I would imagine if Bitcoin continues its downtrend, so does Mr. Beaterall. And let's go over and check out Ripple Me Timbers over here. Yeah, selling down quite a bit as well. Yeah, okay. So Mr. Ripple's is actually a lot nastier to me. Let's see how did the Tuesday closed. Yeah, so 2-day did close as a higher high above this guy right over here. Fair enough. So is Ripple. Are we seeing bifurcation in the market? That is a potential possibility now. That really is a potential possibility. On the 2-day, on the 3-day, I would say fuck no. I would say you got this. You got the same sort of 3-day deal with death cross right over here. I don't think that Ripple's ever even had one in its history. Yeah, maybe if you go back all the way down around here. Let's see. It doesn't really count from prior times, but Ripple actually did have history in the 2014 and 2015 market cycle. By the way, when it got the golden cross on the 3-day, that's what led to all this. We're just getting a fresh death cross right now as of this guy right over here. This is a clear test of the 200. This is still being shuffled below the 21 exponential. I treat this still as bearish, but it is interesting to me that we do see higher highs on some of the alts where Bitcoin is not doing such things. So that needs to be brought into the discussion now. We might actually see that. This is the first time that I've really considered this possibility, or I mean, it's always been a possibility, right? But it's the first time that I've actually seen evidence that it is, in our face and happening. So very, 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 very important. Now, Bitcoin itself. Let's go actually and do a little bit more of a dissection on the lower time frames. We kind of skipped through them a little bit. Because I was too excited. Oh, by the way, oh my god, I keep on forgetting to even talk about my own shit. All my programs are on sale. I've been getting a lot of questions about this. Understand that these programs right over here, these are designed for diehards, like true people who want to learn how to do this as a living. Again, when it comes down to it, learning technical analysis, if you just want to dabble, if you just want to know a few tricks and just kind of get started, this is not for you. To be very, very clear, this is not for you. I have plenty of free resources for that. I have over 1,000 hours. I've well over 1,000 hours of content now on like live streams and whatnot. But sorry, these dogs are just going fucking crazy right now. They're so cute, but they're so obnoxious sometimes. But also, if you just want to get started, like you don't know, the first thing about technical analysis, go check out my playlist, new to technical analysis. Start here, and then after that, if you can master that one, which I think just about everyone can, then graduate onto the technical indicators and strategies playlist, and both those are free. That'll pretty much get most people to where they want to be on when it comes to technical analysis, like if you just if you just want to know a few things here and there, that's going to get most people to where they want to be. Some good tricks in there, and it's completely free. But again, if you want to take like the next step, if you want to take this really seriously, if you want to not only invest in a program that is literally over 30 hours long on not just technical analysis, but also trading strategies amongst with them, market dynamics, risk and position management, and mastery in the true sense of it, well, and plus all of the bonus modules, and I mean it's Jesus Christ, and then also the two proprietary indicators. You're also going to be investing into the Discord group, the hidden Discord group, which is where a lot of just we have a lot of great discussions because we're all coming from the same sort of background, and we all have that verification for each other, where essentially everyone has an idea of what they're talking about. We have some very professional traders in there. We have some guys who are on the newer side, but everything that everyone has in common is that we are all dedicated, dedicated to really learning this. So if you're interested in that, definitely check out the links in the description of this video. The same applies for the options program. It gets you access into the same hidden Discord as well. And I should even put on the, I should flash the, what's it called, the sale thing, the code here. The code, sorry, I completely forgot the code. Code is holiday20 in all capitals, just exactly how it's spelled. And again, the links are in the description of this video. Also have the jewel indicators as well. That's just indicators just for full clarification is the word that I'm looking for. Alrighty, back now over here. Did I show my Durbit? Yeah, I think I did show my Durbit. Again, just playing options right over here. Again, if you want to learn how to do that, whoops, let's take this off maybe. If you want to learn how to do that, check out the check out the options program. Again, this is nothing right here. I basically reduced most of my 4250 strike calls. I think I had about 25 of them on, and I closed like 20 of them. Again, I want to take my holiday season easily. But for those of you who are trading out there, this was your big signal. This was your big signal. We had a few confluent things actually. So on our lower time frames, yeah, we obviously did a bearish divergence. DMI is giving you a fresh short signal actually. Well, as of a few ticks ago, but ADX is saying that the trend is getting a little bit stronger. Still not a full signal, but is interesting. It's the first short signal that we've gotten in a while. Yeah, since the actual downtrend, so I do put a lot of weight on that. Jewel over here actually giving you, the Jewel timed you a much better trade actually. Yeah, telling you to short right over here. In fact, actually telling you to short. Yeah, it got it perfectly right over here. Jesus Christ, man, just beautifully alongside confluence with the DMI. So I really do like that as well. But basically, we also did lose the 200 exponential on the 4-hour dildo time frame. The 4-hour actually told you the story. But again, once we closed this 4-hour dildo below this blue box territory right over here, that was your big signal. That's your big signal. Can we have a measured move on this? Well, you can. Where is that pointing you down towards? 3550. When it comes to measure moves, I give zero fucks about any sort of wedge measure moves. I don't care about them. They just don't play out in my experience that often. I think that this one I think that this one very likely gets down to at least 3600. That's going to be the big test, and I'd put a shit ton more weight on this. If Bitcoin actually does break 3600, pretty damn likely that it does come all the way back down to like the 3250, 3300 level. That's my opinion. Obviously, technical analysis says that you have some supports along the way, but hey, I would be pretty comfortable with saying that. And once I get back to like my full battle station where I have access to all my screens and all that good stuff, I will probably be putting on some positions, and hopefully can wait a day for that to happen. By the way, I'm still going to be in the forest for until tomorrow. So again, just a couple more days of this, and then we'll be back to full forest face cam and all. You can see my ugly rat face and all that good stuff. Okay, so let's go back on over to Mr. Beetle. Let's actually round this one out, because apparently a lot of people are like they really like this one. They really like this one. Okay, so there's a couple competing factors going on Mr. Beetle right now. We obviously have a very nasty rejection. We obviously have very nasty bearish divergence. We are not getting the same sort of signal on the DMI right now, and Stokes are coming down over here. So we're kind of at a critical point, because you can see that the purple 200 exponential and the green 55 exponential are getting really fucking close to each other. The first time that they've actually ever even hinted at a cross since it's been a long time. since this run over here when Mr. Beater was $500. A golden cross on the 4-hour dildo time frame is what I should really say. So what I need to see right here is we're going to see one of two things happen. Obviously, you know, this is not going to be helpful, but it's a response to whatever this price action does is going to be your big tell. And I can tell you how I trade it, although this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, and probably most people are going to say, so you're saying that either one can happen? Again, technical analysis does not give you a fucking crystal ball, man. It tells you how to respond to different situations. And we don't have enough information just yet to make a good decision. But basically, if Mr. Buteral is doing two things right now, one nasty, one good. The nasty thing is we have a pretty fucking disgusting rejection right over here with follow through relatively fast. This is institutional order flow at work, in my opinion, and I think that it's more likely that this one actually crashes down through. We are back below the 21 exponential over here, and we have closed a couple dills below it, so it's more likely that we actually do pop all the way down at least to 120 area on Finex. This is where the big test is going to come, and this is where the actionable piece of this is going to come, although this is not financial advice. But if Mr. Buteral does use this 120 area as support, and if it does have a very good reaction off that, you're probably going to get the golden cross, and this is probably going to continue on. And that, again, that'll be the first time you've gotten a golden cross ever since this thing was, like, you know, at the $500 level. And hey, what's up? Welcome, Ventulas. Good to meet you, man. Good to have you in here. I guess you might view this at a later date, but hey, man, good to meet you, man. The other thing that'll happen is this will provide maybe a little bit of a bounce, and then it falls on over. The second that you get a 4-hour dildo closing below, key point, the second that you get a 4-hour dildo closing below the 200 exponential, the purple line right over there at 120, bad. Very fucking bad. Very, very bad. As it'll probably join Bitcoin in retracing at least to 103.5 after that, and probably revisit its prior lows. So again, critical moments, and I'm going to guess that Mr. Ripple's over here is probably going to look pretty damn similar. Yeah, look at that. The green 55 and the purple 200 right over here. This one looks a lot less likely that it's going to cross the upside. And in fact, let's go look at the last time that we had a golden cross on this guy. It was actually right over here. It's actually right over here. This one snakes around a lot because it pumps and dumps pretty hard. But yeah, you know, it does have a history of having some good reactions on those guys. Anyways, same thing on this guy right over here. We've already come down to the 200 exponential. If Mr. Ripples does lose this level, and this is on the dollar valuation, below 36 cents, very likely coming down to at least down around here at around 32 cents, and probably coming down for the full retrace to its prior low. And I think what's likely to happen at that point is the whole market, you know, bounces, makes a series of lower highs, just like you had at 6,000. Something like that would kind of make sense. And then does like a final capitulation move, probably to what I think is going to be like 2,300, something like that would make sense. The super bears think that this thing is going to the 1,000s. I don't know if I agree with that. What I'm looking at right over here to kind of show my sort of, oh, hey, and what's up, man? What's up, Vlad? Good to meet you as well, man. That is a very difficult Russian last name to say, but hey, I hope that you don't take offense to that and just understand that I'm trying my best over here. I just want to say, hey, man, good to meet you. But hey, weekly right over here. So these are the potential areas that I have for this guy bottoming. We have the 23 to 2,600 level right over here. Yes, I did reduce that because of this past move. Major volume from a historical sense being done around here. Some good horizontal support trend lines going on right around here, and overall you can see that this is actually the highest volume node that we have done this whole past year. In fact, it's much bigger, or it's not much bigger, but it's bigger than the one at 6,000. So again, that's kind of if we do get down around here, extremely likely to have a very powerful response. By the same token, you know, this area down around here, the secondary blue box right around 11 to 1,300, that is a much bigger one. We'll get down there, or sorry, we'll discuss that one if this area actually breaks. Obviously, I don't. It's certainly possible. It's just I'm not leaning towards it, in my opinion. So it's, you know, technical analysis is kind of neutral on the fact. You can't really see it over here, but the Fibonacci retracement does show the 942 right. Whoops. Oh man, I just completely messed it up. Let's do this guy right over here. There we go. And let's get this guy right over here. Yeah, you can see the 942 Fibonacci retracement down around here as well. So, you know, it is a big one. The 886 actually is where Bitcoin did bottom in 2014, just saying. But again, if you want more long-term analysis, definitely check out the playlist titled Long-Term Analysis. I go into it much more in depth with all my tools this past Sunday, so check out that upload. I'll do like a bigger dissection. But for now, we'll just kind of denote this guy. We do have this guy right over here as well, 1800. So that is interesting, but I don't really have too many other things agreeing with it. But it is a point of interest. So possible as well. But I'd actually be leaning towards this area right over here. That would be my general thought. Kind of similar to how you responded over here. You know, you have this diagonal trend line right over here, right over here. They are both there for a reason. They basically hold back in the consolidation before your bull trap event right over here. You have your consolidation, breakout, bull trap, consolidation, breakout. It's just a bull trap. You come back down, and then you use that as a support once and then twice. Well, we've already used it once. By the way, it did line up pretty damn well with the 200 simple on the weekly. So I do like that. It looks to be like it's lining up with something. It looks to be like it's working. And if we were to come back down and base on it again, right, maybe around the 886, well, that's just a time frame somewhere in late February. So just saying, you know, potential timeline for that. Again, time analysis not something that I think really can be done or anything like that. But you know, just kind of going over different scenarios. Down around here, we got July for this 1000 level. So you probably really don't want that to happen because it's going to take a really long fucking time. So again, keep that in mind. Overall, I'll leave the rest of the long-term stuff to that video. By the way, let's check out the longs and shorts because there is some interesting right over here. The short interest rate is now equal to the long interest rate at. Wait, nope, sorry, it's actually a little bit lower. My vision is so terrible that I'm like literally a couple feet away from my computer and I can barely see that. But it's actually less than our long interest rate right now. Yes, we do still have plenty more shorts on the table. Let's see how many of these guys are hedged. Almost 7,000 of them. So we really have about less than 26,000 open shorts. And we have about the same amount of open longs. So pretty much at parity right now, actually. If you do account for that, which, you know, again, a lesser spoken on fact, but the fact that the shorts rate has just completely crumbled does offer up the opportunity for cheap coins to be shorted once again. And believe me, when you have 0.005% or lower, I mean that's nothing, man. Even 0.01% is nothing, and that's like a whole degree higher, you know, a whole decimal place higher. So you can imagine that this is, you know, not. It's people are begging you to go short or long right now in Finex, is what that tells me. So Bear is kind of taking advantage of that, is what it seems to me, and they have plenty more ammo to go and dry. Both sides do. But just want to get that out there. So we got this guy right over here. What else do we want to say about this? So yeah, let's go over traditional markets let's go over GBTC. GBTC did have like a half day yesterday. This one's going to be having a very nasty open tomorrow. Tomorrow, yeah, because they're closed today for Christmas. I'm probably going to open somewhere right around here, $4.35. Again, GBTC is in a rising channel. It's probably having bearish divergence on this guy as well. Yeah, it is. And major gap down around here. So it probably does bounce on the first pass, which does lead me to think that Bitcoin bounces somewhere right around 3,600. But is that bounce going to be a good short or not? I would say, well, given the current structure, given the fact that we still have lower highs, given the fact that we got rejected in the way that we did, which to me looks like institutional order flow, I would say probably bounces and then it's a short, and probably bounces somewhere up around here, which would I think be around like 3850, 3900, something like that, and then falls over. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Tentatively speaking, but again, put more action on, put more pressure on, or put more, I don't even know what fucking word I'm looking for. Put more, put more weight on actual price action is what I'm looking for right over here. CMEs are closed for the day, by the way, and we still have a gap down around here as well, right around the 3840 levels. So that does kind of line up, or it actually doesn't line up. That's actually much lower. Or sorry, that's much higher. That's actually much higher. So interestingly enough, do we have a bounce right around there? Well, If Bitcoin does open tomorrow or whenever CME's opens, I don't know. I'm gonna guess that they open up sometime around like 6 p.m. Eastern time. It's probably gonna, if it's opening up lower, then it's probably gonna come back into this area, and that's probably gonna be a sell. So if Bitcoin does get back to like 3,900, that's probably gonna be a sell. So this one could actually help you time a trade, or sorry, maybe not time, but place a trade. Again, this is not financial advice, just sharing what I'd be doing. But again, I'm kind of staying away from the markets while it's the holiday season, because I really don't have the, I don't have enough time to be what's it called, up to date with what's going on. So that is something that I'd be looking for right over here. Keep that one in mind. These closed at 40.70. These closed all the way at 40.70 last night. So again, a long ways down. Okay, let's go check out regular markets, because there's something very, very important going on over there. We've had something that's just unheard of during Christmas time, or the holiday season, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Again, I don't mean any offense to anyone out there. There's just too many holidays. So you know what? Happy holiday season, whatever it might be for you. You know what? I'm wishing you the best one. I always wish you the best. You know what? Whatever day, it doesn't even matter if it's a holiday or not. I wish you the best day possible. But over here, we have fully hit the measured move of the head and shoulders target. We have hit the 200 simple moving average. Doesn't that look familiar from Bitcoin's history? And while you do have a little bit of a wick below it, perhaps, or do we? Yeah, you did trade a few cents below it. Just like Bitcoin did. I think that it's time to be definitely closing shorts and probably looking for a bounce. How high does a bounce get? Well, just like Bitcoin getting back to its purple 200 exponential after hitting the 200 simple, I'd say that's pretty likely, although this one could very easily pop all the way back up to like 247, which I think would probably be another sell. Does this thing give you all the way back to 254? I think that would be a little bit too obvious, but hey, if it does, well, it's like a fucking gift from God, so maybe it is Christmas. But hey, increasing volume on the sell side right over here, very, very nasty. Major bearish divergence on your weekly. I think this is already played out though. Your weekly RSI is getting into the oversold region. Oh fuck, it's oversold, baby. And you know what that means? Can't go lower, bro. Fuck, man, that really does hurt my voice. So RSI can't go lower, bro. We do have DMI over here telling you that the short is still fresh, but that is on a weekly dodo time frame. Let's go over here to the monthly, and I actually forgot to talk about Bitcoin on the monthly as well. But the monthly, and we are coming actually to the end of the year. There's less than a week left. And by the way, I forgot to mention that all my programs are only on sale to the end of the year. Not like I don't think I specified a time on that. But hey, there you go. If it was my job to sell programs, I'd be so fucked. Like so fucked, man. But hey, looking at this guy right over here, given the monthly, I would be looking for a bounce January anywhere above 247. Between 247 and 260 would be a phenomenal short. We're obviously getting, well, I could reduce that to like 257, so it's going to be like a $10 range, and you probably will get a run up to test that area somewhere in there. It's going to be we can't really say right now, it's a fucking monthly, man, so there's too much shit that can happen, but tentatively speaking, we can narrow it down to there, and as time progresses, we'll be able to narrow it down a little bit more. Let's go look at the monthly right over here. So people are going to be pointing out the monthly on Bitcoin's chart, saying that we have a hammer dildo, guys. We have a hammer dildo on the monthly. You know what that means? Bitcoin's going to be going up. Well, maybe. Again, there's still a lot of days in the month to go, and this 55 exponential is coming in all the way around 36.94. By the way, BLX index has not updated, so this is accounting for price action at 40.63. So as you can see, we're actually really fucking close to that right now, and it is certainly not a done deal that this thing is going to close above the green 55 exponential. In fact, I'd say it's probably unlikely. Or even if it does, it's not that important to me. What's important is price action. Going over here to Bitstamp, you can see it a little bit better. Sorry, I should have just started out with this because that's better to do. But hey, green 55 exponential right over here, right under 3,700. So Bitcoin rallying up right now. I should, if I was trading right now, I probably would sell. Anywhere around 38.50, 3,900, probably fine to me. again, it's not financial advice. That trade could very easily go south as well. I'd be using, because there's not really an easy way to manage risk on that one, because it's, I guess you could use maybe the 2 hour. Yeah, maybe you could use like the 2 hour 21. Yeah, that's all the way at 39.50. So the closer that you can get at it, or the closer you can get to it, the better. As you can see, Bitcoin has some work to do over here, as it is trying to rally off the 200 exponential in the 2 hour dildo time frame. But hey, yeah, a little bit of patience. Does it happen today, tomorrow? I don't fucking know. there's no way to know anything like that. Again, that's why I always laugh when people try to do time analysis. Just, I don't know any professional who does it. I don't know anyone who's ever like really had any success with it. So just be aware of that. Overall, looking at this guy right here. We do have the 200 simple coming in right around this 3600 level as well. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of importance on this 3600 level. That's really the big thing. So look at this blue box right over here. As long as Bitcoin's above it, technically it does have a chance to kind of salvage itself from like a technical amount standpoint. Second that you violate it again, it's just like, it's a violation of the violation. You know, you put in your formation right over here, this nice little descending triangle, you had your bear trap below that, then you popped up back above it, so that confirming that as such. Well, if you lose it again, that just means that the people who took you out of it was really just a trapping mechanism. So yeah, looking at that, I don't like that. I wouldn't like it if we broke it, which I think probably does happen. But again, I'm not really trading right now. This is probably going to happen over, you know, it's going to take a long time to happen. You know, I'm talking about these ideas, but they're going to, you know, the longer term stuff probably doesn't happen like well until 2019, which really only isn't like a week way to begin with. But you know, you get my point. You know, you might be hearing this information now and just like, it might not be the right time, right? So again, okay, what else do we have to talk about? We talked about so much. Again, I really wanted to keep these shorter while I'm over here because I don't have access to like all my tools right now. So I hope that this does come out properly. Again, yesterday a phenomenal test, but just for anyone wondering, yeah, you know, I adhered to exactly what I said I would do. I got out below 40-80ish area right over here. My streamer account is completely neutral. It's not, or I mean, except for the options right over here, it's completely neutral. There's nothing to see there. My main account is just completely neutral. I'm not even playing options there. It's like only my streamer account actually has even a little bit of risk on, funnily enough. But hey, keep your eyes on that. As long as Bitcoin is essentially, you know, closing higher level dildos below 39.50, not good. Does it have a chance to close above it? I mean, there's always a chance. I think it's very unlikely. This is a rejection right there. That is clear as day. I mean, very easily seen on the 2-day dildo time frame. To me, this, yeah, just more lower highs, man. Just more lower highs. So yeah, you know, at the end of the day, don't need to make it any more complicated than it needs to be. I'm gonna go back into the 2 hour before I wrap this bitch up, and let's talk about this right here. Okay, 3600, the big bad area that needs to be held by the bulls. If you do lose that area, then probably going to be a full retrace back down to prior lows at 3200. It probably is like a slow type, you know, action, I'd imagine. By the same token, 3950 needs to be defended by the bears. As long as price action is below there, they're pretty much in control. I mean, from a higher time frame perspective, the bears are in control as long as they're below 4200-ish area. But yeah, you know, overall, it doesn't need to be any more complicated than that. Until then, probably just floating around this range for a nice little Christmas day. By the way, Merry Christmas to all. Happy holidays to all. Happy whatever insert holiday that you have here. Wishing the best of the best Tuesdays or Wednesdays. I think it's Tuesday. I'm pretty sure it's Tuesday. So hey, happy Tuesday. Hope everyone's having the best day possible. Whatever day might be in your cryptocurrency life. I'll be back on tomorrow with another video update, and I'll be back in the battle station pretty damn soon to do the live streams once again. So hope everyone's having a good one, and take care.